Republican-led states are fighting an Obama administration edict that requires power plants to limit carbon emissions. Those gases are blamed for global warming. Republicans say the president's edict is an epic power grab over something many conservatives say isn't even happening.
You know, I am always troubled by a theory that fits every perfect situation. You know, back in the 70s, I remember the 70s, we were told there was global cooling. And everyone was told global cooling was a really big problem, and then that faded. And then we were told by Al Gore and others there was global warming, and that was going to be a big problem. And then it morphed, it wasn't global warming anymore, it became climate change. And the problem with climate change is there's never been a day in the history of the world in which the climate is not changing.
Now, it's one thing to argue over how to lessen global warming. It's quite another to deny it's even happening. There is overwhelming scientific evidence our climate is changing and that we are in part to blame. Yet some very vocal Americans, like Senator Ted Cruz, continue to debate what is surely fact. The question is why? I wrote an op-ed on CNN.com exploring that very question, and what I found was surprising. Just 42% of adults in the United States have a great deal of confidence in the scientific community, and it's easy to understand why. Most Americans can't even name a living scientist. I suspect the closest many Americans get to a living, breathing scientist is the fictional Dr. Sheldon Cooper from CBS's sitcom The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's brilliant, condescending, and narcissistic, so whose trust would he actually inspire? With me now, Dr. Anthony Leiserowitz, the director of the Yale Project on Climate Change Communication. His group has been studying the why question for more than a decade. Welcome.
Thank you, Carol. It's great to be with you.
It's nice to have you here. So let's clear up one myth. Do the majority of Americans deny climate change?
No, they don't. And that's a really important point. We find that about 2/3 of Americans believe that climate change is real. And in fact, we see more broadly that there are 6 very different kinds of responses to climate change in the United States. 6 different Americas, if you will. For example, we find that about 15% of Americans are alarmed about climate change. They think it's happening, it's human caused, and a very serious problem. About 1/4 of Americans are concerned about climate change. They think it's happening and human caused and serious, but they tend to think the impacts are going to be more distant. Then there's another 1/4 that we call the cautious. These are people who think it's happening, human caused, actually the cautious are still confused. They are still trying to figure out, is it happening or not, human caused or natural? Then a very small group we call the disengaged, it's about 5%. These are people who don't know anything about the issue. Then 15% we call the doubtful. These are people who think it's not happening, but if it is, it's natural, nothing that humans have anything to do with, nothing we can do anything about.
Well, let's talk
and
about
then last but not least is
the dissenters, right? That very vocal group
yes,
of dissenters is the last group, and they're the ones who deny climate change is happening. Who are they?
That's right. So that group we call the dismissive, and these are people who are firmly convinced it's not happening, not human caused, and not a serious problem. And in fact, about 3/4 of this group, and it's about 15% of the public, believe that climate change is a conspiracy. They think that it's scientists making up facts, that it's a UN plot to take away American sovereignty, that it's a plot by Al Gore, as we just heard Ted Cruz talk about. All of which has nothing whatsoever to do with the basic fundamental science, and what you alluded to before, is that the scientific community, based upon the evidence, 97% of climate scientists agree that climate change is happening and human caused. And yet this issue has become deeply divisive in our politics.
Well, my research also found that those very loud climate deniers are backed by lots and lots of money. A recent study by Drexel University found that conservative foundations and others have bankrolled climate denial to the tune of $558 million between 2003 and 2010. Who are these wealthy climate deniers?
Yeah, so there's 2 main camps. One is the obvious camp, and that is the fossil fuel producers. They're perfectly happy with the current energy system of coal and oil and natural gas because they're making more money than anybody else on the planet using and continuing to burn this old energy source. But the other is the ideological opposition, and that's what you're talking about with these conservative think tanks. They're deeply distrustful of climate change because they're afraid of the potential solutions. Climate change is not something that we can all solve through our own individual voluntary behavior. Yes, we can make a difference by turning out the lights and buying a more fuel-efficient car and saving energy. but it's only going to be a small piece of what ultimately is going to require a national and, yes, global solution to this problem. And that violates some of their fundamental distrust about government and the role of government in society.
Right, because